Good morning, guys. So today we are here to talk about the LaBrant Fam. Ugh. This fucking couple, Cole and Sav, they are the worst for so many reasons. And I think a lot of people could be tied for the worst YouTubers, especially when it comes to these family vloggers. But with Cole and Sav, there's so much exploitation of really sensitive stuff, whether it's cancer, fire evacuations, the quote-unquote documentary that they did, comparing that to the fucking Holocaust. Cole and Sav have the ability to piss me off in a way that a lot of other family vloggers just, it's annoying, but it's not able to really get me upset. And Cole and Sav just do that like it's literally the reason why they're on YouTube. I've talked about the LaBrant Fam a fair amount on my channel, and they are some of those YouTubers that I don't think that they're going to get any better as time goes on. I think that they're going to get worse, and I think that they're going to continue to exploit, and they're going to continue to put their kids in uncomfortable positions, all for the sake of a vlog or a prank or an Instagram video. I just don't think that they're ever going to do better. I know, with commentary channels, there's certain YouTubers that I've talked about where I think that they can do better because they know better than to do the shit that they're doing. But then there's also many I don't think that they're going to get better. And the reason always comes down to clicks, views, clout. How much money are they making? How much attention are they getting by doing this type of problematic content? How many other commentary channels are talking about them? I think about that when it comes down to the Dad Challenge podcast. There's not a lot of other big commentary channels. In fact, I don't know of any that are sizable that talk about him. And when you have a bunch of small commentary channels covering this toxic dumpster fire channel, and you don't have anyone with a larger reach talking about them, sometimes, and I've heard it from subscribers, it's like, oh, well, you're just picking away. And it's like, you would not be saying that if some big commentary channel like Spill Sash or T-Spill covered Dad Challenge podcast. You wouldn't go to them and say, oh, you're picking. Fuck, you're picking. Come on now. People are talking about him because he's problematic, and the reason that bigger content creators, at least a lot of them, haven't talked about him specifically is because a lot of them don't know who he is. They haven't come across the radar, or he hasn't come across their radar yet. So, whatever. That was just a side tangent. But what the LaBrants have decided to do now to get some content and clicks and views is use their son's seizure to drive engagement to their channel. First of all, I want to acknowledge that they did put a little PSA, or what is that, like a disclaimer in the beginning of the video, claiming that the AdSense would be donated to some sort of seizure organization. But I will go back to what I've said many other times. I don't trust a word that any influencer says. I would say most of the time, especially with the LaBrants, because they have a history of lying, misleading people, saying things that fit their narrative, saying things that might make them look a little bit better, saying things or telling subscribers things that make them look like saviors instead of exploiters. So they can say that, but until I see an actual receipt that that's what happened, showing the amount of AdSense that they made and then showing a direct donation to said organization, I don't believe it. Same thing goes back to their documentary. They said that the AdSense from that would be given to organizations. Let's be honest, they're pro-birth organizations. You know, all of that just to say, I don't believe that AdSense is going to go anywhere aside from their bank account. And that's just because I don't trust most YouTubers. Now, there are some that I trust. But for the most part, the people that I talk about, I wouldn't trust them to pick up a gallon of milk for me from the grocery store if I asked them to. And that's just how I feel about it. Getting back to their son's seizure. Now, I'm not going to discuss a ton of the details, but I want to hit on some of the high points. Since this is a public video and the information's already out there, so it's not like I'm talking about anything that is a secret or anything like that. Evidently, their son, who he's really young, I think he's under 2, somewhere around there, had a series of seizures over the last, call it 2 weeks. And while I think that that is super duper scary from a parent's perspective, I don't believe that anyone needed Cole and Sav to sit on their channel and say, oh, you guys need to learn how to do CPR because we didn't know, we had taken CPR classes and then we forgot all about it when things were actually happening. Savannah was just like in such a state of shock that she completely forgot how to do CPR, which is totally understandable. But I also don't think that parents need a reminder from them in a monetized YouTube video to say, maybe it's a good time that I take a CPR class. Now, I'm going to say most, I'm not going to say all, but most parents have taken a CPR class or a first aid class or, some sort of something. If they're going to forget it, they're not going to remember it because Cole and Sav put a monetized video on YouTube saying something about it. That's just not how it works. So nobody needed a reminder or a PSA about the CPR stuff that they went on and on about. Secondly, the entire thing with putting this information out, let's talk about that. I know a lot of people will say, oh, well, they're spreading awareness about young kids who deal with seizures. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I don't think that we needed to know so many of the details that they put out in this video in order to spread awareness about seizures. And plus, they said that they made the YouTube video to update people because people were so supportive and they were asking questions over on Instagram. Nobody is entitled to your children's medical history. I don't give a damn if someone has been subscribed to you for 10 years. Don't care. Because guess what? Even if they've been subscribed to you for 10 years, that is your child's medical history to share if and when they want to. It is not yours to use for this monetized video that allegedly you're going to donate, even though I don't trust you and I don't believe that you're going to donate anything. Now, let me also say, I will eat my words. If they come out with actual proof that they made a donation to some sort of organization that helps kids that deal with seizures, then I will say I was wrong. But based on the history of most influencers, I have reason to not believe a word that they say. I don't think that anyone needed a reminder to take a CPR class. I don't think that anyone needed to know all of the scary details of what happened to the child during the seizure and what kind of medicine they're giving their kid. I just don't think that anyone needed to know that. It seems like such an odd thing to make content about. That could have been inserted into a vlog. Unfortunately, we're going through some medical stuff, and if y'all are parents out there and deal with kids that have, if any of your kids have seizures, we understand what that feels like. We're sorry. We're going through the same thing with our child. That could have been a 30-second part of a vlog. It did not need to be this long, drawn-out thing where it's just a way to get people to click. And on top of it, this little PSA that they think they're doing, they don't have parents that are watching their videos. Most of their audience is kids. If most of your audience is kids, why do they need a PSA about seizures and what kind of medication the child is on? Like, the whole thing was just so obvious to me, a desperate attempt to have people interested in what the video was about. And the only reason I watched it was because I knew that I wanted to make this video and talk about how disgusting they are. The LaBrants, there's a few family vloggers that never disappoint. Like, they never disappoint in terms of being disgusting, exploiting any situation that they can, sharing information that nobody is entitled to, and just laughing all the way to the bank. And like I said, if they come out with actual proof that they made the donation from this video with the AdSense to an organization, if they come out with that proof, then you get a pat on the back for actually doing something that you said you were going to do. Actually, you don't even need a pat on the back, because that's just doing what you said you would do. But see how shocking it is? Once you're known to be a liar and money hungry and greedy and exploiting stuff, I'm actually considering giving them credit for doing what they said they were going to do, because I'm going into this expecting that we're never going to see a receipt. We're never going to hear about how much was donated, because that's their track record, is to say something like this and then not ever mention it again. I can't wait for the books and the podcasts and the memoirs and the videos online that are going to come out 15 and 20 years from now about these YouTube kids that were exploited by their parents. It is going to be such an interesting period of time to see what these kids have to say about all of their, information being put out for them. Sad circumstances from their childhood being used to build up their parents' YouTube channels. I just think all of it is going to be, it's going to be really liberating for these kids that actually want to put out their side of the story. And a lot of them we probably won't hear from, but I think the ones that do want to put their story out, it's going to be really freeing for them to be able to say, I grew up in this environment and I hated it. I could not stand it. And, this is what happened when the cameras were off. It'll be really interesting to see. The other thing I wanted to mention in this video is Love Meg'S. So I've been covering her a fair amount because she claims that she's going to sell her house, sell all of her possessions, all of her tacky decor, and they're going to move to Italy with their 2 dogs and their kids. I've given her a lot of criticism, and I have legitimate concerns when it comes to especially her senior dog, Molly. Molly doesn't need to be put on a plane. She doesn't need to be moved from house to house every 2 weeks or month or 2 months in Italy. And her kids definitely don't need to have their stability taken away, all for the sake of doing what Meg and her husband want to do. I just think it's extremely selfish, and that's my opinion. But she put out a video. I might react to it. Tell me in the comments if you guys want a reaction. But they're like mapping out their time in Europe. And I said this, I said this in a video the other day, but it kind of reminds me of, remember when you were like, I don't know how old I would have been. Maybe I would have been in between the age of 17 and 20. And I would talk to my friends because I had been, on a couple trips and like kind of gotten outside of my comfort zone. That's where I grew up. I had been to Miami. I had been to LA. I had been to New York, all within the US. You guys know I haven't been out of the country. But then I would come back from the vacation and I would like look at houses, and I would look at like, there were a couple times I even looked when I was working at Nordstrom on jobs that Nordstrom in like Miami was hiring for. And I'd be like, yeah, I'm going to move to Miami. I'm going to get this apartment and I'm just going to move down there and blah, blah, blah. And it's just like, you're so dumb. Like, I'm talking to myself. Girl, you're, 18 years old? Do you think you're really going to like uproot and go to Miami and work for the company you work for now and actually be able to afford an apartment that's not, even back then it would have been $2,200 a month to live in Miami, especially if you want to live somewhere, that's more on the upper scale. It's just also dumb. And that's what I look at Meg and her husband. I'm like, y'all are like two adolescent kids who are making a really rushed decision because, as we know, I've only been talking about this for maybe a couple weeks at the most. To me, it just seems like a quick decision, this erratic, we're going to do what we want to do and we're just going to bring our kids along for the ride because they'll have fun. I don't know. Like I said, I hope that if it goes through, I hope that everything turns out okay, but I really, really, really worry about her senior dog. And I don't like people to get rid of their dogs, but I would like to see her, maybe leave her senior dog with her parents if they do go through with this, just because I don't think that it's going to turn out good if they put that dog on a plane and then go from house to house. I think that dog would just be much happier. Obviously the dog knows Meg's parents, so just let the dog stay in the States and, be comfortable. That's my, unsolicited opinion. I would never, ever, ever do that to my dog. I wouldn't even put Axel on a plane unless it was literally like I had to, I have no other choice, I can't drive to this place, and it's either get rid of my dog or put him on a plane. Even then, it would have to be some really special circumstances. I would need him literally right next to me the entire time. And, even then I would probably be worried sick about him, but I just wouldn't put him on a plane, But anyway, guys, I want to know what you think about the LaBrants. I think I know what everyone thinks, but as always, tell me exactly how you feel. Tell me what you think about Love Meg. Leave it all down below. So for now, if you liked the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.